Everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Treble. Now, guys, I have some bad news. Bad news? I don't know. I'm actually was very disappointed with this week's music releases. Okay, there was a lot of songs that weren't so good. I didn't vibe with them. I couldn't get into them. I don't know what happened this week. I honestly don't know what happened this week with new releases. Now, I'm just talking about singles. Albums as well. I feel like there's just been so much good music being released the last few weeks that this week's was just like a dud. There was like nothing really exciting, nothing different, nothing that caught my eye. And I don't know why. I truly don't know why. Usually at least I like a few songs here and there, but not much. Not much. Overall, there was no new singles, no new releases or anything. So I was very disappointed. But what does that mean? I am actually going to talk about a new boy band that I found. I'm going to react to a song that I've been requested to listen to. I have some album mentions, honorable mentions that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. And I'll be reviewing Meow's first EP. Okay. I love this group. I think this group is doing such an amazing job. And so we'll get into that later on in the episode. But yeah, that's what's going on. So first off, guys, I want to show you a new boy band that I found out on Instagram. Their name is Too Big and consists of 4 group members: Matt Brown, Torre, Nix, and KD. They're Texas-based R&B group and recently have blown up in social media. They gained over 1 million followers on TikTok, over 100,000 followers on Instagram. And they remind me of like a modern day Jackson 5, honestly. Although it's a 4-member group, right? They still remind me of that modern day Jackson 5 where they're singing, they're dancing. They have this nostalgic feel of the late 90s, early 2000s. And it really hooked me. It really did hook me into wanting more from them. They only have one song out that came out back in April. It's called Karma. And honestly, it's one of my favorite tracks this week. I just fell in love with it. I literally played it on repeat. I wouldn't say a good 30 minutes without me even knowing that it was on repeat. It was just something so catchy, so groovy. I needed something lively and happy. And so I was just like, that's it. I'm sold. I'm following these guys. I'm following this group. They're amazing. I just can't not wait to see what else they have in store. The name of this track is Karma. It's just one of those songs that's, like I say, has that feel-good vibe. And it just talks about something positive where, what goes around comes around. So if you're throwing positivity into the world, it comes back to you. If you're throwing negativity into the world, it's going to come back to you. So it's just having that universal concept of what you do, it's going to reciprocate back to you, right? So I think everyone can relate to it. They're going to blow up. I really do hope so they blow up because we're missing a boy band in the current space. Now we do have old school boy bands like Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block that are still, I would say they're relevant. People still talk about them. They're still on tour. They're doing tours, concerts here and there all the time. And so I believe they are relevant, although their music is not as mainstream or Billboard chart topping songs, right? They're still creating that music, but I really do hope this group does get the recognition because it gives you that, like I said, it gives me that nostalgic feel, makes you feel good. They can dance, they can sing, and that's something rare for boy bands to kind of do nowadays, because I feel like the last big group that we had was One Direction, but they weren't really dancers. They were just singers. I think they bring a great vibe to the music industry, so I really do hope that they blow up more and get a lot more recognition. Next, I'm going to react to a song that actually a lot of people have requested me to listen to. It's called Butterflies by Hearts2Heart. Now, I did do a reaction from their song The Chase, I want to say a couple weeks ago. And so it was before starting the podcast, doing the solo podcast. And a lot of people were saying, check out the B-side, which is this song. And so I wanted to give it a chance, want to give it a shot. It's a new group. They did intrigue me with The Chase. I'm actually excited because I did like the other song. I just never dug deeper than that. And so let's see what they're all about. So, ready. Oh, so far the instruments. Okay. 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 Oh my gosh, guys. Okay. This is giving me like mid 2010s vibe. I want to say. Yeah, it gives me that 2010s vibe. And you know why I say that? It's because it's rare, very rare for me to have a song in Korean and full Korean that I actually enjoy with the melody and just the instruments. And yeah, I think this could be a winner. Okay. Oh. I like this. I like the fluctuation. The melody. Oh, I love this part. The chorus. It's so relaxing. Something about it gives me that 2010s feel. Ooh. Nice. Okay, bridge. Let's go, bridge. I think out of all of them, I really like Yua. Ooh, right here. Oh, something about this, like this R&B type of vibe, like. Yes. I love this. It's so simple. It's so simple. Oh my gosh. Now, do I like this better than The Chase? I say no. Oh, I say I don't like it better than The Chase, but I do like it. I like the vibe. I like the rhythm. I like the mid-tempo. It's very rare for me to like a song fully in Korean just because of the fact that there's just nothing I can say I can relate to when it comes to like the lyrics because I don't understand them, even though I have no idea what they're saying. Just something about the melody, the hook, the way the chorus is. You can hear that little beat build up right to the chorus with the instruments and the production. So I think this is a solid track. I actually like this track. I hope they would do like a English version. Just because the way it sounds, like I said, it has like the R&B type of vibe, and I do enjoy that. Wow, I give it to these girls. They did a great job with this. Next, we have some honorable mentions when it comes to albums. Now, first we have Linkin Park's From Zero, the deluxe version. I just feel like it's one of their shorter albums than their past projects. Now, it could be because the times have changed, songs are getting shorter, albums are getting shorter, and so I think that could be the trend. That's why it just felt very short to me when it came down to this album. I feel like maybe they should have added at least 5 songs, but overall, this album is great. I love it. It feels like it's a new chapter of the band. There is nothing wrong with a band moving forward because they created that, they built that brand for almost 20 years. And so for them to not continue the legacy, not continue to create the music and having a whole new band just because, something tragic did happen, I feel like it's not fair, honestly. I think Emily brings a unique voice to this band. It does remind me, of the old singer, Chester. And so, yes, she's just a female, so of course it's going to sound different, but the vibe of the album, the vibe of how Mike and her switched off their vocals, with her like the screaming voice and all of that, and with him, with his rapping, it gives me that old school Linkin Park vibe. That's how it was back then. For a while, Mike wasn't even on the music. You know, he wasn't even singing or rapping. And that sucked because I liked that mixture of like the rock, hip hop, because no one else is doing it. No one else has done it since them, and no one is continuing to do it since them. So I do believe this album, I mean, it's just another layer. It's another chapter. Let them do what they have to do. And I think it's just one of those things that I want to support. I do love, like I said, I love this album. It gives me like that old school feel of what they used to do back in like Hybrid Therapy or Motorea times. So I think it's just one of those things that I just want them to continue to build upon that. It's a new chapter. You know, time has passed. People have healed. And unfortunately, you know, not everyone's going to agree or it's going to like this new chapter of Linkin Park. But I personally do. I do love it. Some of my top tracks are Heavy as the Crown, The Empress Machine. From the deluxe version, I like Up From the Bottom. I think those lyrics are incredible. I think that's like the stronger track out of the three. And I do think you should go check it out. Go check out that album if you have not. Second album I want to talk about is by Morgan Wallen. He's seriously one of the biggest country artists right now, along with the most controversial. I've seen stuff on Twitter that he has done, stuff that have resurfaced, and I don't know why. Maybe that's playing to his advantage, being controversial. I mean, like I said, he's one of the biggest country artists right now. If he's being controversial and it's working for him, then I guess he's going to continue it. But I just know that this album, I'm the Problem, is long. It's 37 tracks. I'll be honest, I have not listened to all 37 tracks. I've listened to about 13 tracks. So far, I've liked What I Want featuring Ted McRae. I love Superman. And I love his opening track and main title track of this album, I'm the Problem. He's showing a different side of himself. And I think that is a great selling point because of all the controversy that has happened. And so, like I said, I have not listened to all the tracks. I have listened to a few. I still have a lot more. I just haven't had the time to really listen and pay attention to the lyrics and really give like my full opinion on it. I really do believe you should go check this album out and listen to all 37 tracks. I haven't done so yet, but so far from the 13 that I've heard, most of them are well written. They're catchy. They have that sorrow, heartache. They actually tell the story and really does show his vulnerability. I do hope that the album continues to show us his vulnerability and give us more insight of who he is. In our final segment, I am going to talk about MEOVV's album, My Eyes Open Wide. Now, this is a full review. It's not just an honorable mention, right? So I want to clarify that first. I think that this album was great. The only drawback I would say about this album is the fact that we got all the pre-release singles. So we got about four pre-release singles, and we only got technically like 2 to 3 new tracks. And so I think that's the drawback. I understand because of the streaming numbers. I understand because they are pre-release singles. So eventually the singles are going to be put into albums. But I just felt maybe we could have added a little 1 or 2 more new songs. It just lacked a little bit of new tracks. But overall, like I said, this album is solid. I just want to go track by track. Let's do that, right? So Hands Up is like this Brazilian funk pop song. Talks about enlightenment and moving forward and just keep persisting, on life, like no matter what it throws at you. I think that's a great message, with it being a pre-release single, right? And so I think I love that about this song. Wasn't too big on the chorus. I love the beat drop, the change up at the end. I think that's been one of my favorites so far from MEOVV. They've had a few, but this one was out of the world. I love how like electronic pop it was. It built up so much that I think the song lacked a little bit, but then like eventually it just got better and better. And I think that's a great way to start an album and to just, kind of set the pace and the tone of the rest of the album, the mini album. Next we had Drop Top. And so this is just a nice pop song. I like the fact that it's about being optimistic and enjoying life to the fullest despite what fears and insecurities you have. So it has a similar, theme to the previous song. And so This song's great. It wasn't my favorite, to be honest. It was one that I connected with, but just when it came down to the production, it was the one that kind of lacked a little bit. It's still a good track. I'll listen to it, but I don't love it. I don't love this track. Will it be one that maybe I'll like look for? No, but if it comes up, I'll listen to it. I wouldn't skip it, to be honest. And then next we have Meow. That's their debut single. They released it back last year, back in like September. I love the fact that they express like their fierce attitude, their confidence. They talk about wow. They talk about like basically things that you may want and that you think you need in life. But I think what it is about this song was the hip hop vibe to it, because there's not a lot of songs that are doing that right now. They're not doing this like hip hop pop songs, and even in girl groups, we haven't really seen them since like Blackpink, Baby Monster, 21. In the YG spectrum. To be honest, those are the only times I do see more hip hop pop songs. But yeah, I think I enjoy this based on the message, based on the instruments, the production, and I think it's just one of the better songs, to be honest, on this mini album. So I think this one's gonna be timeless. I think it can be a timeless song, to be honest, because it's one that I keep going back to no matter what. If I do search for Meowth and I want to listen to the song from Meowth, I go back to that one, to be honest. Next we have Meowth, which is this hip hop pop song that talks about the group's fears, attitudes, confidence, wealth. It's overall like a fun, upbeat beat. It's kind of trendy in a way. And I think it could withstand the test of time. I think it's one song that I still go back to. I still look for. I'm like, oh, I want to listen to this song from their discography so far. And so I think this one's just more up there. I think it's going to be, like I said, more timeless, just because of the way that it was a little different than what was going on in the K-pop industry right now. Love the video, killer choreography, and I think it's just one of like, they did something strong with this track. Next, we have Body, which is this chatty, repetitive, addictive chorus. It shows the group's confidence. It shows their intense energy when it comes to like their choreography. I just like the fact that it mixes like this hip hop, pop. It kind of gives me that vibe as well. Although it's not a hip hop sounding song, they have a little bit more raps, I feel like, in this song than any other song they have created. And so yeah, it gives me like a part two of their song Meow. So I think that's why I like Body. Body's cool. They have a performance video for it, so go check it out if you want to. At first, I didn't like this song, to be honest, but later on, as I listened to it more, it got more addicting. And so I think it's just one of those tracks that it's more like a grower and not so much one that you're going to love instantly. Coming down to the wire, we have Toxic. So this is a mid-tempo electro pop song. It kind of gives me Rosé on the ground vibes, but without like the chorus drop. It talks about being in a toxic relationship and how like two people can like ruin each other, but then also can't live without each other, which is so ironic in life in general. There's people that do go through those type of relationships, so I think this can be relatable to a lot of people, and it's all in English, so I think that helps it even better to understand the lyrics and to tell the story of what the song is about. And now I can't really relate to it, but I know they sound beautiful, and so I think it's just one of, like I said, it's one of the stronger tracks, and I think it's one that I think made sense for them to make all in English because the topic is universal, and most people could say they have maybe experienced that type of relationship, so they can relate to it. And then now the final track is Lit Right Now. Love the mixture of like this jazzy, reggae, electro pop song. It was unique. I honestly think this song should have been the title track. Now, I understand why it couldn't. And it's because it has this like 30-second outro of just the production playing, and it has like this fade out, right? So the way that it was structured made sense of ending an album, right? It's a slower track. It's not as upbeat, but it does talk about like, being in your space, about being positive, being optimistic, enjoying life, enjoying the moments. And I think that's what made it a great track. And I prefer that one over Top Down, to be honest. It's a top down drop top, sorry, over drop top. And so I think this song should have been the title track. Now I understand why it wasn't, but like I said, it gives me like that 21 kind of vibe. Like I can feel and I can envision 21 singing this song and fitting their voices well. So I think that's why I love this song a lot more than the actual title track. Overall, this album is strong. It has solidified them as artists. You know, the album blends a variety of genres that include pop, reggae, hip hop, electro pop, and you can hear it throughout the track listing. You know, this is something that most new artists or new groups can't do, or it's very hard for them to achieve and actually achieve flawlessly. And they blended their voices with, you know, strong production and having great vocals and awesome themes, that when you have all that combination together, I believe they make strong tracks. And for them to do that with their debut album, although I don't think they're hitting like the charts, whatever, but if you give them a shot, you give them a chance and you listen to the project, you can hear the potential that they do have. And I think it's because they don't come from a big company that maybe they're not getting the push or the promotion they may need. They still created a solid mini album. And I think this one I can buy on vinyl, to be honest. Hopefully they have vinyls. Honestly, I haven't checked that out, but yeah, I think they have a great future ahead of them. I can't wait for them to see what else they do. I think overall I just love them because they do fall into like that YG Black Label spectrum. And so I think that's why I do enjoy Meow as well. But hey, they're talented group. I can't wait for what else they bring to the K-pop industry, because I feel like we're missing a lot of things, and you know, they're bringing a different color into this genre. So that's it on this week's episode of Treble. Let me know down in the comments what releases this week maybe you enjoyed. I know I missed a lot. There's a lot of singles that came out that I wasn't vibing with, guys. So maybe you were vibing with something. I surely wasn't truly vibing with something new other than MEOVV's project. And so yeah, it's just one of those weird weeks. I don't think I've ever had a week where like I didn't like a new song. It was just a very unique, you know, New Music Friday for me, to be honest. But yeah, tell me in the comments down below what songs that you like. I'll see you next week for another new episode. Remember, say it louder. It's only Treble.